about his time in an airport. One of his many times.
Many airports.
A woman with badly behaved children was letting them run all over and scream at the top of their lungs. The woman asked Jerry where he would be sitting on the plane.
Oh no.
He replied, wherever you're not.
That's Jerry. That is Jerry. Oh my.
You all know that's Jerry.
Yes, yes, yes. Aw. Aw.
Next. I was, the first time Jerry and I walked, and we were getting back to my house, he asked me a question. And I said, well, I'll have to think about that. And he says, well, think about it right now.
It's pretty outspoken, huh?
Very.
I have a story. Betty and I are walking partners. And Jerry oftentimes would walk behind us, but we always walked fast because we wanted to get our heart rates up. And so we would be walking, and he would be behind us, and he would call us jackrabbits. We were jackrabbits because we
That's
were
cute.
walking so fast. He said, but I do enjoy the view from this.
Oh, that's cute.
So, and that's Jerry too.
I think he purposely did that. He should have walked faster.
That segues right into what I'm going to share. And you witnessed it, but as you know, I walk a lot and I try to get in a lot of miles. But even during the mild winter months, neither my legs nor my arms get cold, but my hands do. So I'm in a short sleeve t-shirt, in shorts, and I have gloves on. Now, those of you who know me and you know Jerry, we're like bookends. One's way over here, and one's way over here, politically. And we traded barbs, and frequently, and it was all in good fun. But as I went by him, he goes, "Gloves? What are you wearing gloves for?" And I turned around to him, I said, "So I don't leave fingerprints," and I just kept going. So several months later, Jerry and Charles joined John and I on our Friday burger runs. That's what we do when we're unsupervised. We didn't hike this year, so we go get burgers, and they're wonderful.
While we play mosh.
Well, you play mosh, meaning the men are unsupervised. So we're there one day, and Jerry looks at me and he goes, "Why are you wearing camouflage tennis shoes?" And I looked him straight in the face, and I said, "So you don't see my feet." And our relationship continued that way, and I really enjoyed those bantering and the sparring with him. And we did it whether we were here, at the house, the restaurant, it didn't matter. And he was a joy to work with on the board, even though it was for a short time, and he did a tremendous job. So anyway, I consider him my friend, and we'll miss him.
Yes.
And Jerry was very intellectual.
Well, far beyond me.
And I won't add what you are.
The opposite end, bookends. Oh, I'm sorry.
Good move, Peter.
Next time you give him a headlock, you're not going to hold it back, are you?
Anybody else?
Yeah, I've got something to say too. I always thought Jerry was like a second dad to me, and I loved him very dearly, but I could never get the courage to tell him that I loved him. And I spoke with Jerry 2.5 weeks ago. I spoke with Jerry 2.5 weeks ago, and I told him, I said, "Jerry, I never had it in me to tell you this, but I loved you. I love you like my dad." And I never expected to hear this from Jerry, because he was so good to me. And Jerry has a gruff way about himself, but he's
Oh, yeah?
but he's He's a teddy bear. He's just a big teddy bear. And when I told Jerry that, I wasn't expecting to hear what he told me. And he told me that I love you too, Harry. And I just hope to see him on the other side.
I've got a minor thing. I've known Jerry for a couple of years now, and he's probably the most intellectually honest person I've ever met. Jerry is Jerry, and that's it. He asked me to read one of his books, and I was looking at it carefully, and he had a tremendous talent to want you to turn the page. The books were about things I could have cared less about, but I kept reading them because he was such a good writer, and that was a magnificent talent, and I think we're going to miss that.
Yes.
But thank goodness that he did all that writing,
Yes,
because
that'll go on.
it will remain. That's wonderful.
That's all I have to say about Jerry. He's a neat guy.
You all do know that he won the top of the mountain.
Yes.
Sorry.
That's okay. Or his memoirs. It was wonderful.
And there will be a book, and you will all get a copy.
Oh, we're reading it. That was one of the last things he said to me.
Well, the first time we met Jerry, we haven't been in the neighborhood that long, and we just started, where's Shelley? Oh, Shelley. We're in the middle of landscaping, and we're putting in all this cacti and jib. All of a sudden, there was this man, strange man, came into the front door, wandered around the side, and we didn't ring the doorbell. We didn't know who he was. Was he going to plant something?
And you said to me, there's somebody wandering around outside.
And who is it?
Yeah,
And he was Jerry checking to see if you were doing it right.
yeah. And he was actually very intrigued because we weren't putting in an irrigation system. And he said, how is this stuff going to live? And he goes, I wish we'd done that too.
So an hour and a half later, the conversation finished.
And Jerry, he never, ever met a stranger. That's true. I have a really funny story to tell, and he would kill me if he were alive.
You've been saving this one.
Years ago, he was in, I don't know, Liberia or somewhere, and he got very, sorry, let me back up.
Reset.
My ex-husband was in Liberia, and he was very sick, and he came to Washington, and he got all this treatment and whatever, and he wanted to come out and visit Tracy and Todd, and we were living in Colorado. The kids all lived with us all the time, and so he wanted to come and visit Tracy and Todd, and so we said, okay, that's fine. So we invited my ex-husband to stay with us, and that's all perfectly fine. Well, the funny part was, when he came, Jerry said, well, should I sleep in the spare room?
Oh, that's good.
Hilarious! I don't think you kids ever knew anything
Oh,
about
that's
that.
funny.
Dad never told me about that.
Of course, Dad didn't know anything about it.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
Jerry said, well, I can sleep in the spare room. And I said, well, God, I'm married to you. So
Did he come alone or did he come with his wife?
he came alone.
Oh.
I wonder if his. I wonder if Nancy knows about that.
He slept in your room. You gave him your room, and you bumped in somewhere with Scott or something. I don't remember
that.
I don't know. But anyway, you gave your dad your room, and Jerry wanted to. Are you sleeping in the spare room? I don't think so. Just stay with me.
Are you sure your ex-husband wasn't an Eskimo?
Anyway, it was funny. It was absolutely hilarious.
Anybody else?
Every time I told anybody, he got really embarrassed.
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Just one brief thing. When Betty and Jerry first moved in, John and I knocked on the door and we brought a box of snickerdoodles and a bottle of wine.
Oh,
And Betty ate all the snickerdoodles and Jerry drank the wine. And many batches of snickerdoodles and many bottles of wine later, we are so glad that we had them as friends. Jerry questioned everything. He was just an amazing
Yes.
person. We learned a lot from him, but I appreciated that he always questioned things, even recipes and what's the origin and what's the name of that and how did it come about. He wanted to know everything, and I think that was one of the joys of being around him, is that he was constantly learning and constantly challenging all of us. And John and I were always challenging him emotionally, and he would get mad at us and say, "Damn it, you asked the toughest questions." We'd say, "Well, how do you feel about that, Jerry? You know, why are you so passionate about this?" And he'd say, "Why do you ask such tough questions?" But you know what? Over the years that he lived here, he answered those questions about his passions and his loves and what was important to him. And it was great to get to know that side of him.
Oh, yeah.
You know, one of the things that is just amazing to Jerry is what great people you guys are. He could not believe that we moved into a community like this, because we've never had that before. It's just amazing.
We're all enriched because of you.
Yep, exactly.
The two of you, actually.
Yeah, both of you guys.
And Betty, we're all here for you now.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
I'm gonna need you.
Oh, yeah, we'll be here.
You're gonna get so tired of sleeping.
You'll actually want us to go away.
By the way, Betty told me she's taking up golf.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, you said
You got the right teacher, right?
Be
over
careful,
there.
I'm gonna give her a few tips.
No fair.
Somebody wants to say something back there?
You know, I just want to hope I can say this without breaking up. Okay, Shelley. Betty. Hi, Shelley. And Jerry for being such great friends. And for giving us time to share together and create these gardens that we did. We had a lot of fun gardening. Jerry told me about 3 years after we had installed all this, and he said, "You know, because I got to tell you why I really hired you." And I said, "Okay, let's have it. Why did you hire me?" Because they interviewed a number of people. He said, "You know what?" He goes, "I asked you a plant question, and then one question after another, and you answered them very affably." And he said, "And then I asked you one question. You said, 'I don't know, but I'll look it up.'" And she pulled out this dog-eared book. You've been through 1,000. I know, right? That you had pulled out 1,000 times. And he goes, "I was so impressed that you were so humble to look that up and to say, 'I don't know, but we'll find out. We'll find the answer.'" And he goes, "That's why I hired you. You're never too humble. You're never too arrogant to look something up and to know the answer." I thought that was really Jerry, you know, to say we don't know all the answers, but we're looking and we're searching. And he was really an intellectual, and I appreciate that about him.
And you know why you were hired, is we went through the books and we picked out all the plants that we love. And I swear to God, you incorporated every single one of them. It was just amazing.
You guys had divergent goals, and we were pulling this together, and they called a marriage counselor, and it's nice to see all your goals and all your dreams come together. And you know, when the builder said, "I'll take care of this slope that goes down toward the pool and empties into it," I wrote it down, and I documented it because I went like, "Well, when is that going to happen?" And I'll take care of it. So when push came down to shove, we went like, "Well, what are we going to do about this slope?" The builder didn't really address it, and I said, "Well, you have 3 alternatives. We can put retaining walls, and it won't look all that great, and it's going to cost a lot of money, or we can put solid riprap, which would be super cheap and super ugly, or we can do this thing where we create these nature trails where the water splashes out of these canali and comes down and hits, stays a little bit in the ground and feeds water to the plants and does its thing, and it never makes its way to the pool because mud and pools don't mix." And so it was this great thing, and the day the boulders got delivered, Betty said, "Shelley, no. This is not a big pile of boulders, and we can't have this." I said, "Well, we're not putting in a pile of boulders, we're distributing them." And I said, "I'll work with the crew." So it was one of the first times this particular crew had worked with me on this type of project. And we just placed all these stones. So if you look up, there's all these ways to keep the plants happy and to keep the water from going into the pool. And Betty said, "Wow," when we got done, she goes, I like that. That looks great. Let's put that everywhere." So there's ways to do things, and there's